Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. The 2022-23 NBA season was filled with moments that dazzled, disappointed, and dared fans and supporters to dream. From historic and record-breaking performances to all-time playoff meltdowns. It's time for the SportsMax Zone NBA Season Awards. And we couldn't talk about hoops without our trusted NBA analyst, Alister Albert. Well, I'm excited and I'm sure you are too, so let's get started. The first award is for Surprise Package of the Year. This award goes to a player or team that greatly surpassed expectations. Here are the nominees. Lauri Markkanen of the Utah Jazz. Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks. The Sacramento Kings. All right, so it's now time to welcome Alister Albert. Alister, how are you doing and who do you like for our first set of picks?
Hi guys, good evening. For me, hi, sorry, there was a little delay there. Good evening, everyone. For my first award here, I'd like to give it to the Sacramento Kings. They're breaking the drought that they had, which was the longest drought in the NBA for not making the playoffs with 16 years. You know, the turnaround that they made, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Mike Brown winning unanimous Coach of the Year. I think they deserve the nod here as the winners for the best surprise package this year.
But I find it rather strange that you didn't have any love for Lauri Markkanen. I rate him individually, what he was able to do for his team, and as a team player, Alister.
Yeah, there could only be one winner for an award. But yeah, Lauri Markkanen was actually my second choice here because he was tremendous this year. He kind of came out to the blue. He kind of put up a career that most people would have thought would have been a bust by now because he just hadn't played up to his potential. But this year he just went all out. The Jazz were first at one point in the West and they were just rolling. So yeah, he deserves all the credit this year for sure as well.
Yeah, averaging 25 points per game and just the impact he has had with the entire team. What about Jalen Brunson? Why didn't he get the nod? Because you had Sacramento Kings first, then you decided Markkanen. But I like Jalen Brunson too from the New York Knicks. I saw a tweet from him, Alister, recently, June 13 to be exact, where he was joking about the off-season and, drug testing is in full effect. And I think I can understand why he posted that because the season he had people wondering what was up.
But the thing is, the people who were wondering what was up, they probably were not watching him closely enough in Dallas. And the thing about it is what he did with Dallas last year and taking them to the playoffs and playing as good as he did, getting them to the Western Conference Finals, he showed he was an outstanding player there. So it wasn't too much a surprise for me what he was able to do with the Knicks. And that's why he was the last in my choice in this bracket here. But I've been talking about and raving about him for the whole season. So that's no disrespect to him whatsoever.
All right, so as you heard from the man himself, Alister has given that award to the Sacramento Kings. Next up is the Moment of the Year. Now, there were special nights during this season that will stay with us for some time. Here are the candidates. Donovan Mitchell's 71-point performance against the Bulls. LeBron James breaking Kareem's all-time scoring record. Damian Lillard's 71-point performance against the Rockets. Let's now find out what Alister is thinking. Is he about to spring any surprises on us? Alister, your pick.
probably not surprising, but a 38-year-old record going down, it has to be the winner here. LeBron James beating Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and eclipsing his total point record. I think that's my choice for me.
Right, and I think I have to agree with you on that, Alister. Because of the season LeBron had, we have to remember his age, we have to put things into context. It's unfortunate the manner in which the Lakers had to leave the NBA playoffs, but what LeBron has done and continues to do during the NBA, it's something that, it's a legacy.
Definitely, and this is a guy who came into the league where he said scoring was not his priority, and he kind of showed that quite a lot in his career, where it was just, it wasn't really, he was always a pass-first type of guy. So to be someone who was able to break the record like he did in that fashion demands a lot of respect as well.
What about Damian Lillard? Of course, I know you gave the award to LeBron James, but we have to spend some time talking about Damian Lillard and that 71-point performance. I was looking at the footage just now, and it felt as if I know the NBA just ended, but the beautiful moments, Alister, that came out from this season.
Yeah, Damian Lillard, 71 points. It's crazy that someone else did the same amount of points in that same season. And let's not even forget Luka Doncic's 60-point triple-double, 60 points, 21 rebounds. But yeah, Damian Lillard scoring that 71 points against the Rockets. The shame that his season hasn't gone to his liking, not being able to make the playoffs, not being in contention for a championship. But it just shows the level of skill that he has. 13 of 22 from the three-point line, 14 of 14 free throws. He was just outstanding that night. It was very inexperienced Rockets team, but he plays with friends of you, and those guys have quite a lot of talent. So no shame at all in scoring 71 points, and he's the all-time best scorers ever.
Yeah, and a quick comment on Donovan Mitchell. He's coming up against a tough crowd when it comes to this segment. LeBron James, we already agreed, he is your winner, your pick. But a quick word on Donovan Mitchell and what he has accomplished this season and the moment we saw.
Well, it was great for him as well. The Cavaliers were able to right the ship and get back into the playoffs after being a playing team last year. He came in from the Utah Jazz and kind of turned the franchise's excitement around. So he had a remarkable season, those 71 points. So he used against the Bulls as well, and yeah, it was really good for him. And hopefully he'll have a stronger year next year.
All right. So next up, the Turning Point of the Year award. This award goes to a moment that changed the fortunes of the team, either for better or worse. Kyrie Irving being traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Ja Morant getting suspended in March for flashing a gun on video. The Lakers packaging a trading Russell Westbrook for depth. Alister, I feel like this one is going to be extremely tough. I'm eager to hear what you're thinking about these three nominees, and even more so to find out who walks away with that award.
Well, for me, I kind of take the positive route and go with the Lakers and them trading away Russell Westbrook. Negative for him, of course, but what they were able to do with their season and turn their season around, coming from the 13th seed all the way up to being able to make the Western Conference Final. That move kind of signaled a change and a change of tide for them as a franchise in a particularly lost season. So, this was really instrumental for them, and of course the Ja Morant thing. And Kyrie Irving moving to the Mavs, it's just disappointing to them as well. But I think the turn of tide for the Lakers takes advantage there for me, and that's why I choose them for this award.
Yeah, I like the positive approaches as well. And as you say the word disappointment, I think it's fitting that I move on to the next award. That goes to the disappointment of the year. These teams or players fell way below expectations for this year. Let's take a look at the nominees. The Dallas Mavericks failing to make the playoffs. Zion Williamson's injury woes derailing the Pelican season. The Milwaukee Bucks being bounced in the first round 4-1 by Miami. Alister, I'm going to start by asking you to comment on Zion Williamson's season just before I ask you your pick. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, Zion Williamson only played 29 games this season, only 114 career games out of 246 possible games in a 4-year career. It's really disappointing that he hasn't been able to just kind of get into the healthy groove to help this team. Coming from last year when they made that trade for CJ McCollum, and him coming in potentially healthy, everyone thought they would have been a contender. And in January of this year, they were the first team in the West as well. Just having some level of momentum and excitement about them. And of course, he gets derailed again by injuries. It's really disappointing. This is a contender here in this nomination group.
Yeah, I think we recognize the importance of Zion Williamson. I remember when he was traded to the Pelicans, the hype, everybody couldn't wait to see him suit up and look at what he would have been able to do. As I say, injury is something we can never tell when it's coming, and of course it affects you and your team in a major way.
Definitely, and you saw what happened there, and it's just unfortunate. It's a part of the game you can't predict, and that's what happened to the Pelicans. Really? My choice for this nomination group is the Milwaukee Bucks. They not getting to deeper on the playoffs was a massive disappointment. Of course, we had the whole conversation from Giannis Antetokounmpo about steps to success and not failure, which we spoke about at that time. But they not being able to move past the 8th seed in Miami. Went on to the finals, but they being favorites, being the top seed in the whole NBA. That was not a disappointment. I actually had them making finals this year in my playoff and winning the championship against the Denver Nuggets. It was a massive disappointment for me and just for the franchise as well.
Yeah, and as we move along with our awards, the next award is Coaching Casualty of the Year. These coaches were relieved of their duties after their respective playoff series. Doc Rivers losing to the Celtics in 7 games. Monty Williams and the Suns losing to the Denver Nuggets in 6 after getting Kevin Durant. Mike Budenholzer and the Bucks being bounced by the Miami Heat in 5 games. Well, this one is very tricky, Alister, because as we said, each of the coaches, they lost their jobs because the results were not what the owners wanted. Which one is your casualty coach?
Yeah, my biggest casualty here, leading off from the Giannis selection in the last round, it's Mike Budenholzer going out in that first round against the Miami Heat. That was massively disappointing. Coming off 2 seasons ago where they won the championship, and he actually was on the hot seat the previous year before, and then he won the championship to kind of save his job and do everything that he did. But of course, this first round, Giannis Antetokounmpo missed 2 games out of that playoff series. They didn't have their full complement to play against the Miami Heat in that sort of way. So I think it was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction. He was the next massive disappointment in the coaching, and he probably should have stayed on another year, but that's it of the business, bottom line industry.
I noticed a pattern in Alister's responses. I think he's very disappointed in the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know if you're seeing it too, viewers, because he gave us the Milwaukee Bucks for the first one, just above that, and now he's saying Mike Budenholzer. He has to get that award for Casualty Coach of the Year. All right, so we're down to our final award, the Playoff Performer of the Year award. This one is very straightforward, and I'm sure we all know the candidates. Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets, Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat. What about the Joker, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets? Well, Alister, your time now.
Finals MVP, first-time champion, near triple-double average. The Joker is my choice here. It's a really easy choice for me when I saw this category. So he was just remarkable. 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists in the whole playoffs, and he was just remarkable throughout this whole playoff run for the Nuggets. He was the pivot, the fulcrum, the focal point, whatever word that you want to use for the Denver Nuggets. And his importance and the playmaking ability and everything that he does for the Nuggets was the reason why they won this championship this year. So he was a choice for me as playoff performer of the year.
I feel like this is the only category, Alister, where I have no comeback for you. I can't oppose what you're saying because we've seen what Nikola Jokic has done. He came, he knew it was business, he meant business, and he got the business done. And I think that's very, very commendable. In the opening of the show, I was telling Ricardo, it feels good to see him smiling in the parade because it's something that we don't see often. It has a lot to do with his personality, the way he carries about himself, and maybe that has worked for him. Well, it has worked for him. Let me say that.
Definitely. You're absolutely right about everything you said. And it's nice to see someone like him who's kind of considered unconventional and not what people would expect to succeed, winning in that sort of way. The 41st pick in the 2014, no other MVP has been lower than the 15th pick in the NBA ever. So it's great that he was able to pull off what he was able to do this year.
Yeah, well, before we say goodbye to Alister, the off-season is upon us, so that means free agency, the NBA draft, and so much more. Do you anticipate anything big, Alister?
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening next week. The NBA draft is coming up on Thursday. There's a lot of talk about free agents coming out. The hot commodities that we have on screen, James Harden, is rumored to go to the Suns or back to the Rockets. Kyrie Irving has been bandied about everywhere. Bradley Beal came up as an interesting one recently. Of course, we have Dre, his contract situation. Fred VanVleet and Chris Paul are coveted free agent point guards markets who could go to contenders and help the team out as well. So yeah, and all of these players here, they're going to switch teams and potentially help teams get to the point that the Nuggets were able to get this year. So let's see what happens. And there's a lot to talk about this off season. So, like I said, I'm ready to discuss whatever happens.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how it all pans out. Alister, as usual, it has been a pleasure chatting with you. I don't agree with all your picks, but it'll have to do for today. We can debate about that off air. Thank you so much, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon.
No problem, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Alister Albert there, our NBA correspondent. Let's take a quick break and come right back.